everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to make the viral Chili's Nashville hot mozzarella sticks, so let's get started with the video. Begin by cutting a block of mozzarella cheese into big rectangular pieces. When you're finished, set your pieces of mozzarella cheese to the side. Next, in a bowl, add 1 cup of flour. Then, in another bowl, add 3 eggs. Next, add 1 tablespoon of water, then beat the eggs with a whisk until smooth. Next, in another bowl, add 1 cup of breadcrumbs, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon of paprika. Then mix everything together until well combined. When you're finished, you can begin coating your mozzarella sticks. Begin by coating the mozzarella stick in flour. Then coat it in the egg wash. Then in the breadcrumbs. Then coat it once again in the egg wash. And then once again in the breadcrumbs. When you're finished, place it on a tinfoil covered baking sheet. Repeat this process with all of your mozzarella sticks. When you're finished, place the mozzarella sticks in the freezer for an hour. Before you take the mozzarella sticks out of the freezer, pour vegetable oil in a pan and heat it up to around 350 degrees. Once the oil is hot and ready, take the mozzarella sticks out of the freezer and begin frying them. Place around 2 to 3 mozzarella sticks at a time so you don't overcrowd the pan, and then let them cook for around 1 minute or until crispy and golden brown. Also, make sure to flip the mozzarella sticks so they cook evenly on both sides. When the mozzarella sticks are finished cooking, take them out of the pan and place them on a wire rack. Then repeat this process with the rest of your mozzarella sticks. Once you finish frying the mozzarella sticks, we can move on and make the Nashville hot sauce. In a bowl, add 1 tablespoon of cayenne pepper, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then mix everything together until well combined. Next, add a 1/2 cup of the hot oil you used to fry your mozzarella sticks. Then mix everything together until well combined. When you're finished, coat the mozzarella sticks in the Nashville hot sauce. After coating the mozzarella sticks, place them on a wire rack. This is optional, but after placing the mozzarella sticks on a wire rack, you can add even more Nashville hot sauce. Once you've coated all the mozzarella sticks in the Nashville hot sauce, you are all done. Now all that's left to do is plate it up. And this is the finished result! These mozzarella sticks were so good and seasoned to perfection. I definitely recommend giving these a try because not only are they easy to make, but they're super good. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make the fried mac and cheese balls from the Cheesecake Factory, so let's get started with the video. Begin by shredding Monterey Jack cheese, sharp cheddar cheese, mild cheddar cheese, and smoked Gouda. When you're finished shredding all of your cheeses, set them to the side. Next, we're going to make the creamy marinara sauce. In a medium saucepan over medium heat, add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Once the oil is hot, add a half a cup of diced onions. Then saute the onions for 5 minutes. When you're finished sauteing the onions, add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic and stir for about 1 minute or until fragrant. Next, add 28 ounces of crushed tomatoes. Once you've added the crushed tomatoes, mix everything together until well combined. Next, mix in a half a teaspoon of oregano, a half a teaspoon of salt, a quarter teaspoon of pepper, 1 tablespoon of freshly chopped basil, and a half a tablespoon of sugar. Then add 1/3 cup of heavy cream. Once you finish mixing in the heavy cream, bring the marinara sauce to a light boil. Then reduce the heat, partially cover the saucepan, and let it simmer for about 15 minutes. Once the sauce is finished cooking, take it off the heat and let it cool at room temperature. Then pour the sauce in a container and place it in the fridge until you're ready to use it later. Now we're going to make the mac and cheese. In a pot filled with water, add salt. Then bring the water to a boil and add your macaroni noodles. Cook the macaroni noodles for however long it says to on the box. Once the noodles have finished cooking, set them to the side. Next, in a pot over medium heat, add 2 tablespoons of butter. Once the butter is melted, gradually add 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour while mixing the butter and flour together with a whisk. Once everything is mixed together, cook the roux for 2 minutes. Then gradually mix in 2½ cups of milk. Once you've added the milk, continue to cook the sauce while whisking occasionally until it becomes thick. Once the sauce has become thick, mix in 2 tablespoons of sour cream. Next, turn off the heat and gradually add 1 cup of sharp cheddar cheese, 1 cup of mild cheddar cheese, half a cup of smoked Gouda cheese, and half a cup of Monterey Jack cheese. Next, mix in 1 teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of pepper, a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, and a dash of cayenne pepper. After mixing in the seasonings, you can go ahead and add the macaroni noodles. Mix the noodles into the sauce until the noodles are completely coated. Next, mix in 1 to 2 cups of the shredded cheese of your choice. When you're finished, place the mac and cheese in the fridge for 2 hours. After 2 hours, take your mac and cheese out of the fridge. Then take around a handful of macaroni and cheese and roll and shape it into a ball. When you're finished, place the ball of mac and cheese on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Repeat this process until you've made all the mac and cheese balls you want. Once you finish making the mac and cheese balls, place them in the freezer overnight. Next, in a bowl, add 1 cup of flour, a half a teaspoon of seasoned salt or salt, a half a teaspoon of pepper, a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. Then mix everything together until well combined. Then, in another bowl, add 3 eggs. After adding the eggs, add 1 tablespoon of water, then beat the eggs until smooth. Now, in another bowl, add 1½ cups of panko breadcrumbs and 2 tablespoons of grated Parmesan cheese. Then mix everything together until well combined. When you're finished, take your frozen macaroni and cheese balls out of the freezer and begin coating them. First, coat the macaroni and cheese ball in the flour. Then shake off any excess flour. Next, coat it in the egg wash. Again, making sure to shake off any excess egg wash. And finally coat it in the panko breadcrumbs. Then when you're finished, place it on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Repeat this process until you've coated all of your mac and cheese balls. When you're finished, place the mac and cheese balls back into the freezer until you're ready to fry them. Next, fill the pot or deep fryer with vegetable oil and then heat the oil up to around 350 degrees. Once the oil is hot, take your mac and cheese balls out of the freezer and begin frying them. Fry the mac and cheese balls for about 3 to 4 minutes or until crispy and golden brown. Make sure to turn the mac and cheese balls occasionally for even color. Once the mac and cheese balls have finished frying, take them out and place them on a wire rack. Repeat this process with the rest of the mac and cheese balls. Once you finish frying all the mac and cheese balls, you can go ahead and plate them up. First, add 1 to 2 scoops of marinara sauce on the plate, then using a spoon, spread the sauce out and shape it into a circle. Next, place the fried mac and cheese balls on the plate. Then sprinkle grated Parmesan cheese and freshly chopped parsley on top of the fried mac and cheese balls. And that's it, you are all done. And this is the finished result. These fried mac and cheese balls are so good. They're crispy on the outside and ooey gooey and cheesy on the inside. The marinara sauce was also delicious and paired really well with the mac and cheese balls. The fried mac and cheese balls are my favorite appetizer at the Cheesecake Factory, so I definitely recommend either trying this recipe or trying it at the Cheesecake Factory. Either way, you'll definitely enjoy it. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make the viral Chipotle Philly cheesesteak quesadillas with the Chipotle vinaigrette. So let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by making the Chipotle honey vinaigrette. In a blender, add a half a cup of red wine vinegar, a quarter cup of water, a quarter cup of honey, 1 tablespoon of adobo sauce, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, and 1 teaspoon of oregano. Once you've added all of your ingredients, blend everything until well combined. Next, add 1 cup of a neutral oil. Chipotle uses rice bran oil, but I don't have that, so I'm using vegetable oil. And if you don't want to use vegetable oil, canola oil is also a good substitute for rice bran oil. Once everything is well combined, transfer your vinaigrette into a container. Then set it to the side until you're ready to use it. Next, we're going to prepare the steak. We're going to begin by making the marinade. In a blender, add 1 can of chipotle peppers in adobo sauce, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, half a red onion, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 2 teaspoons of cumin, 4 teaspoons of paprika, 2 teaspoons of oregano, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Now blend everything together for 1 to 2 minutes. Next, add 1 cup of water. Then blend everything together for another 1 to 2 minutes. Next, place a flank steak in a Ziploc bag. Then pour your marinade in the bag. Close the Ziploc bag and make sure that your steak is covered in the marinade. Now place your steak in the fridge for around 2 hours or overnight. After your steak has finished marinating, you can begin cooking it. In a pan over medium-high heat, add some olive oil. Then place the steak in the pan and make sure you place it away from you so none of the oil splashes on you. Once you've placed the steak in the pan, sear it for 3 to 4 minutes. Then flip it over and sear it on the other side for another 3 to 4 minutes. Once you've finished searing your steak, take it out of the pan. Place the steak on a cutting board and then cover it with tin foil and let it rest for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, remove the tinfoil and cut your steak into small pieces. When you're finished, place the steak back into the pan and sauté it for 1 minute or until it is cooked to your liking. Once you have finished cooking the steak, take it off the heat and set it to the side. Next, we're going to prepare the fajitas. First, slice half a green bell pepper. Then slice half a red onion. Next, in a pan over medium heat, add olive oil. Then add your bell peppers and onions into the pan. Next, add a half a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of pepper, and a half a teaspoon of oregano. Sauté the bell peppers and onions for about 3 to 5 minutes or until they are soft but not mushy. When you have finished cooking your veggies, remove them from the pan and set them to the side. Now we can finally begin assembling our quesadilla. First, place a tortilla on a cutting board. Then on one side of the tortilla, add mozzarella cheese. Then add the steak. Next, add your veggies. And finally, add some more cheese on top. Then fold the tortilla. When you have finished assembling your quesadilla, place it in the same pan you cooked your steak. Cook the quesadilla over medium heat until toasted and golden brown on both sides. Once your quesadilla is finished cooking, take it out of the pan, cut it into pieces, and plate it up. And this is the finished result! The quesadilla was delicious and the vinaigrette was so good, it tasted just like the one from Chipotle. The Philly cheesesteak quesadilla has been trending all over TikTok. The trend was started by Alexis Frost and Keith Lee. I'll have their videos linked in the description below. Since the quesadillas went viral, Chipotle has stopped allowing people to order it. However, now you can make it at home or wait until March when it's available on the app. Oh, and don't forget to mix the vinaigrette with the sour cream to enjoy with your quesadilla. By the way, I got the recipe for the Chipotle honey vinaigrette from My Savage Kitchen on TikTok. They used to work at Chipotle, so this recipe is legit and I'll have the link to it in the description. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make the viral crab dip bagel, so let's get started with the video. First we're going to cook some snow crab legs. In a pot filled with water, add 1 tablespoon of vinegar. The vinegar is going to make the crab legs easier to crack. Then bring the water to a boil and cook 2 snow crab leg clusters. Boil the snow crabs for 5 minutes. Once the snow crab has finished cooking, take it out of the pot and set it to the side. Repeat this process with the second snow crab leg cluster. When you're finished, crack the crabs open and remove the crab meat inside. We're going to use the snow crab meat as a topping for the crab dip bagels, so when you're finished, set the crab meat to the side. Next, in a large bowl, add 4 ounces of softened cream cheese, a 1/4 cup of sour cream, 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, a half a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, half a teaspoon of hot sauce, half a tablespoon of minced garlic, a 1/4 cup of Monterey Jack cheese, a 1/4 cup of green onions, half a teaspoon of Old Bay, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Then mix everything together until well combined. Once everything is mixed together, fold in 8 ounces of lump crab meat. When you're finished, add the crab dip mixture into a Ziploc bag. Next, cut off the tip at the bottom of the Ziploc bag so you can use it as a homemade piping bag. Then set it to the side. Next, place a bagel on a cutting board. Then, using a knife, score the bagel like an X. Make sure you don't cut the bagel all the way through. Then score the bagel again. Your bagel should look like this when you're finished. Now pipe the crab dip into the cuts. Then pipe some of the crab dip at the center of the bagel as well. Repeat this process with the rest of your bagels. When you're finished, place the bagels on a baking sheet lined with tinfoil. Next, we're going to make some Cajun butter. In a small bowl, melt 2 tablespoons of butter. Then add a 1/4 teaspoon of Cajun seasoning. Mix the butter and seasonings together and then brush the butter onto the bagels. Next, add shredded sharp cheddar cheese on top of each bagel. Then sprinkle Old Bay and paprika on top of each bagel as well. When you're finished, place the bagels in the oven at 375 degrees for 10 minutes. When the bagels have finished baking in the oven, place them on a plate. Now we're going to add the toppings to the bagels. The original crab dip bagel had corn, so I just added some sauteed corn on top of each bagel. By the way, I cooked the corn by tossing it in some butter and Cajun seasoning in a skillet over medium heat for a few minutes. Next, add the snow crab meat we prepared before on top of the bagels. By the way, I tossed the snow crab meat in the leftover Cajun butter to give it a little extra flavor, and I highly suggest you do the same, it tasted so good. Finally, sprinkle some parsley and paprika on top of the bagels, and after that you are all done. And this is the finished result. These crab dip bagels are absolutely delicious and definitely a must try. It's creamy and crabby on the inside, and the Cajun butter gives it a little kick while the corn adds a bit of sweetness. I completely understand why it went viral. The original viral crab dip bagel is from Cafe Dear Leon, and I'll have a link to their Instagram down in the description below. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make ube stuffed French toast, so let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by making ube syrup. In a saucepan, add 1.5 cups of white sugar, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and 1 cup of water. Mix everything together and then bring your mixture to a boil. Once it starts boiling, reduce it to a simmer and then let it simmer for 3 to 5 minutes. By the way, don't stir the syrup while it's simmering. After the 3 to 5 minutes, remove the syrup from the heat and then add 2 to 3 teaspoons of ube flavoring and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Mix everything together until well combined and then let the syrup cool for about 10 minutes. Once the syrup has cooled, store it in an airtight container and then place it in the fridge until you're ready to use it. Next, we're going to make the ube filling. In a large bowl, add 8 ounces of room temperature cream cheese. Then beat the cream cheese until smooth. When you're finished, scrape the sides of the bowl. Then add 1/2 cup of powdered sugar and beat until combined. Once the powdered sugar and cream cheese are mixed together and well combined, scrape the sides of the bowl again. Now gradually mix in 2 cups of heavy cream. We want to incorporate the heavy cream, so we're going to add it a little at a time while mixing it into the cream cheese mixture. Do not add it all at once, just small amounts at a time. Once you've added all the heavy cream, continue to beat the mixture until medium peaks form. When you're finished, add 1 to 2 teaspoons of ube flavoring. Then mix it in until well combined. Once everything is mixed together, cover the bowl with plastic wrap and then place the ube filling in the fridge until you're ready to use it. Now we're going to make the French toast. In a bowl, add 3 eggs. Then add 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Mix the eggs and butter together until well combined. Next, mix in 3/4 cup of heavy cream. Once the heavy cream is mixed in, add 2 tablespoons of white sugar, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a bit of nutmeg, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Once you've added all of your ingredients, mix everything together until well combined. When you're finished, set your egg mixture to the side. Next, cut 1 loaf of brioche bread into thick slices. Your bread slices should be this thick. Once you have finished slicing the bread, set it to the side. Next, in a pan over medium heat, add butter. Once the butter is melted, place a slice of bread in the egg mixture. Soak the bread in the egg mixture for about 10 to 15 seconds on each side. Once the slice of bread has finished soaking in the egg mixture, place it in the pan and then cook it until it is golden brown on both sides. Once the French toast has finished cooking, take it out of the pan. Repeat this process with the other slices of bread. Once you finish cooking the French toast, we can begin stuffing the French toast with the ube filling. First, prepare a piping bag. To do this, take a piping bag and cut the tip off. And then cut a tiny sliver off the corner. Then place the piping bag in a cup. Doing this will make it easier to put the ube filling into the piping bag. Next, add the ube filling into the piping bag. Once you've added the ube filling, take the piping bag out of the cup. Now you can begin stuffing the French toast. Take a slice of French toast and cut it down the middle, creating a pocket. Make sure not to cut too deep inside the French toast. Then, using the piping bag, pipe the filling into the French toast until you reach the top. Next, pipe 2 swirly lines on top of the French toast. Make sure when you're piping, the corner you cut off the piping bag is facing up. That way when you're piping the filling on, the swirls look more neat. Repeat this process with all of your French toast. Once you've finished stuffing your French toast with the ube filling and adding swirls on top, add some fruit on top as well. I'm adding strawberries, blackberries, and blueberries. I also added some mint leaves. adding the fruit, add some powdered sugar. And that's it, you are all finished making your ube stuffed French toast. Now just add the ube syrup you made before and enjoy! This ube stuffed French toast was absolutely delicious and it looks so pretty! The ube filling wasn't too sweet, so it complemented the French toast perfectly, and the ube syrup added more ube flavor. I was inspired to make this after I saw Keith Lee from TikTok try the ube stuffed French toast from the Pepper Club in Las Vegas. I wanted to try the ube stuffed French toast so badly, so I decided to make it myself, and it turned out awesome! By the way, this isn't the recipe that they use at the Pepper Club, this is just my version of ube stuffed French toast. I totally recommend giving this recipe a try, especially if you love ube like I do. It is so good. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make Chili's Southwest egg rolls, so let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by preparing our ingredients. First, dice 1 onion, 1 red bell pepper, and 1 jalapeno. Then chop up some cilantro. Next, chop 1 rotisserie chicken into small pieces. When you're finished, set your ingredients to the side until you're ready to use them. In a large pan over medium heat, add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Then add a 1/4 cup of diced onions, a 1/4 cup of diced red bell peppers, and 2 tablespoons of diced jalapeno peppers. Then saute the peppers and onions for about 5 minutes. Once you finish sauteing the peppers and onions, add the chicken we prepared before, a 1/3 cup of corn, and a 1/3 cup of black beans. Then mix everything together until well combined. Next, mix in a 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Once you've mixed in the seasonings, add 1 cup of spinach. Once the spinach is almost fully cooked, reduce the heat to low, then add 1 cup of Monterey Jack cheese and 2 tablespoons of cilantro. Then mix everything together until well combined. Once you finish making your filling, you can start making your egg rolls. First, place a tortilla on a cutting board. Then add the filling to the edge of the tortilla. Fold the tortilla once over the filling. Then fold the sides of the tortilla to the center. Then fold the tortilla over 2 times. Next, add water to the edge of the tortilla and then continue to fold it. And that's it, you're all done. Now set your egg roll to the side and repeat this process until you've used up all of your filling. Once you finish preparing your egg rolls, you can begin frying them. Fill a pot or deep fryer with vegetable oil and then heat the oil up to around 350 degrees. Once the oil is hot, fry your egg rolls for around 3 to 4 minutes or until crispy and golden brown. Make sure to turn the egg rolls occasionally for even color. Once the egg rolls have finished frying, take them out and place them on a wire rack. Repeat this process with the rest of your egg rolls. Once you finish making your egg rolls, you can go ahead and plate them up. And this is the finished result. These egg rolls were great, they were super easy to make and absolutely delicious. And of course I got some avocado ranch on the side to dip them in. Overall 10 out of 10, would totally recommend. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make the cinnamon twist from Taco Bell, so let's get started with the video. For this recipe, you're going to need churros. And I know what you're thinking, it kinda looks like pasta, but it isn't. Churros is a Mexican snack made of wheat flour and other ingredients that puff up when fried. This is what Taco Bell uses for their cinnamon twist. To get started, add vegetable oil to a pot or deep fryer. Then heat the oil up to around 350 degrees. Once the oil is hot, add around a handful of churros into the pot or deep fryer. Then in a few seconds it should puff up. Once the churros puffs up completely, take it out and place it in a bowl. Repeat this process until you've made as many as you want. Next, we're going to make the cinnamon sugar. In a bowl, add a half a cup of sugar and 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon. Then mix the cinnamon and sugar together until well combined. When you're finished, pour the cinnamon sugar over the churros. Then mix everything together until the churros are completely coated in the cinnamon sugar. And that's it, you are all finished making the Taco Bell cinnamon twist. And this is the finished result. I love the cinnamon twists at Taco Bell, and I'm super happy that I can make them at home, and now so can you! Not only that, but it's super easy to make and only takes a few ingredients. The cinnamon twist came out great too, just listen to this crunch. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!